Okay, I'll move over to 18 bar 9. Councillor Henderson.
I'll just walk people through this a moment. It takes a little bit of explaining. I've got a couple of questions around it, but if you look at regulatory income, you'll note there's a 780,000 odd discrepancy, and there's a note for C at the bottom. Economic downturn has affected applications for resource consents. If you go down further, financial development contributions, appears to be a shortfall, if I'm reading this correctly, of about 2.7 million on what was budgeted, so about 70 or 80% below what the estimate is. And then you flip over the page, and under 3 you'll see expenditure by activity, and regulatory services has actually cost more than what was budgeted. So I've got a series of questions around that. The note on the first page says, E, timing of applications and payments behind schedule. And I was just wondering, are the payments, is it the reason that we're so far out by budget because of the timing of the payments and the schedule, or are they just not eventuating? That's the first question.
There's two different things here. If we look at the regulatory income, that is part of the profit and loss statement for the regulatory services, and the other part of their profit and loss statement, which is showing here, is the expenses of running that particular division. So yes, their income is down, their net position's worse by 186, so they've really probably saved about 600,000 in their general operating expenses to end up with a net position of a loss of 186. As far as the financial development contributions are concerned, that's really more of a balance sheet item where we've got a development contributions account that gets reduced as the development contributions are paid by the subdividers and the developers, etc. So that flows, even though it's revenue, it actually flows into reducing the size of the debtor account in the balance sheet. So that's part of the problem with the accounting treatment we're forced to follow. As we found with the NZTA subsidy for the ETA, remember that came in as revenue, but it went out as a capital expenditure as we built the roads. So not all revenue items as shown under this actually flows through to the cost of service statements or expenditure by activity.
So my next question in relation to that then, before I go to my next question originally, is of that discrepancy, which is quite large, what percentage of that do we expect to be collected, and what would be forgone as revenue that will not be coming in?
As far as development contributions are concerned, we aren't foregoing. Hopefully that development will pick up to the extent that the increases will start to occur. Since I've been here, we have never got anywhere near what the budgeted development contributions would be for the year. Hopefully it will turn around. As far as the regulatory income is concerned, we've sort of cut our cloth a bit to match the lower level of activity, which leads to the regulatory income, and that was part of the restructuring as well. Yeah.
Sure. My question in relation to that though is the regulatory servicing has not dropped in terms of the ability to deliver the service.
Well, with all due respect, if you look at the 781,000 below budget as far as income is concerned, and their net position is only 186 below budget, then they've actually recovered 600,000 of the reduced income through their expenses.
Okay, thanks.
All right, that's 80. Councillor Williams.
Just wanting an explanation, please, Mr. Manhennett. Just if you could explain the variance in electricity and gas, and in losses on disposable assets, and
Okay.
okay, on the others are on the next page. So.
discrepancies in electricity?
The variance in electricity and gas, negative variance and negative variances, losses on disposable assets. Why were those?
As far as the electricity and gas is concerned, when the original budgets were done, we assumed a level of increase in power company charges, which was not as great as what we've actually experienced. The loss on disposal of assets has been with respect to the realisation value versus book value on one or two assets. One of them was a house that we sold in Bricker Street, was it? Yeah, Bricker Street. And the other one was the disposal of a property at the airport, where they've been revalued on a 3-yearly basis, and naturally when we came to dispose of them, they've been written up in our books by the valuers 3 years ago, and when we disposed of them, naturally the market had changed.
Both those houses were taken to the market by tender, and the market price was met, and that wasn't the same as the book value. So,
no, if I remember rightly, those houses at the airport were brick veneer, so that all the brick would have to come off to move them, and then you've got to reclad them. So,
I actually thought we got good money for them for removal, but the book value was a lot higher. So next question, was another one?
I'm probably meant to know this, but the item I, what is RUG variation? W-R-U-G.
Waikato River User Group, variation 6. So Environment Waikato or Waikato Regional Council have a variation on water allocation. The last council agreed to join the other councils in a supporting role through that process, and through to support them through the Environment Court process, and so this is the continuation of that.
Okay, going over to ADM bar 10. Councillor Downard.
Just curiosity on the electricity contract. How much do we pay for our past 3 years?
We paid, from memory, about $6 million.
Just to follow on from that, just with the ETA, our road lights, is that going to increase? Like, do we pay for the lighting on our roading, like these lights out here?
Yes.
So does that mean that that's extra power coming out for all the extra roads and lighting?
It will be once we take it.
Because that works out to be about $38,000 a month. 6.6 million over 3 years. Seems an awful lot.
Well, we're running wastewater plants, treatment plants.
That's over the whole of the district.
The whole district,
yeah.
As far as our power requirements for all our infrastructure, etc.
Councillor Johnson.
Just for information for me on growth and economic development, there's a saving obviously because DLT's gone externally. Where do you see that line item? Because we do give them money for delivery of service, but it's come in as a, you've said that destination marketing is now conducted by DLT, but we still fund them. Where do we see that line?
Commenting on the variance.
So we give them less than it actually costs, so they're more efficient.
I think it's a timing issue.
Okay.
What we are moving to in the next financial year is that we are going to be funding them in advance. In the current year, we have been doing it as we've taken each rates take, and the budget's been spread evenly over the year, but you get those variances related to the timing of the rates take versus the even spread of the budget.